What is up, Nintendo Land? Welcome to Nintendo Open Air Podcast. If you've ever uploaded a YouTube video of your Mario Kart 8 victories, through the official in-game method no less, then you are most likely more than familiar with Nintendo's copyright policies. Especially given Nintendo's recent war against ROM sites, you would think their policies would be tighter than ever. However, if you stick around long enough, Nintendo will once in a while pleasantly surprise you. That's right, they are doing away with their YouTube Creators Program and loosening their content sharing guidelines. If you're willing to follow a few simple rules, it seems the world of Nintendo content sharing is suddenly open to you. Yes, that means you can finally upload that Let's Play of 1-2 Switch you've been sitting on for over a year now. So, let the Let's Play upload in the background and stay tuned as we share some of our content of our own. Alright, so Nintendo has made their new guidelines publicly available. You can easily find it through any of their official sources. I have to say I'm very surprised at how reasonable they are.
Yeah, I did not see this one coming. This was like a jaw dropper. Like, this is like somebody shot them into 2008 or something. Out of nowhere, they just, because I mean, they had that stupid creator program that probably nobody ever participated in. They've been behind every other, like PlayStation and Xbox pay people to play their games on YouTube, and Nintendo expected you to pay them to play their game. So they've basically said you can pretty much, as long as you're adding something to it, they did kind of specify that they want you to put your own creative input into it. They don't want you to just simply, just show something the way it is. But as long as you put your own creative input or commentary or something like that, then they're fine with it, which covers probably 99% of what people use. So,
and probably about 5% of what we post, or at least as far as the game streams go. I'm just playing the game with nothing.
But that basically means that content creators can now actually get paid on YouTube for creating Nintendo-centric stuff. So, I mean, you're going to see a lot more Nintendo stuff unless they've already missed the boat and people, are still so angry about the way it was for years that they don't. But
you think,
yeah.
Do you think this came from the new president, or do you think this? How do you think this?
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I have no idea how this came about. But I mean, it's such a modern way of thinking that you don't expect it from them.
Yeah, I mean, but it's just such a sudden sea change. The only thing that I can.
It also happened right before Smash. Yeah.
Well, okay.
Or is that where you were going?
Well, I was going to say right after the whole changing of the CEO.
Yeah. So Smash, maybe, Pokemon.
But then Smash and Pokemon would be a much bigger driver than anything that dude would say, I would think.
Well, it's traditionally been this way where every holiday comes along and Nintendo's got whatever hot game that they're hawking that year, and you're not allowed to play it. So you're going to play the competitor's big game on your stream to get views. So this is the first, I mean, they probably looked at it and said, hey, maybe it's not such a bad thing that we actually get people excited to play our games.
Fortnite probably turned them on to
it's
that idea.
Free advertisement. Yeah. I mean, Fortnite's been such a huge deal for that's still one of the most, I think that's still currently the most watched game on Twitch. I believe whenever you browse, that's always the first thing that comes up on Twitch with the most views. And then somehow Hearthstone, League of Legends, so many games have these followings, of people that watch them online. And that was something also that they mentioned, like Twitch and YouTube. They're not gonna.
It was somewhat restrictive. I think it was Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. There may have been another one. That's the only ones I can remember that you can officially share it through. And I mean, that's most of the main.
Yeah, that's
main
the main
places. Yeah.
There was also a proviso in there that there wouldn't be a problem to share game clips without commentary if it was coming from one of their own platforms, the Switch's videos or whatnot.
Yeah, they basically I think I'll pair. Well, I'm looking at it. It says we encourage you to create videos that include your own creative input. Even that says we encourage, not require. We encourage you to put your own creative input. Let's see. Videos and images that contain mere copies of Nintendo game content without creative input are not, or commentary are not permitted. You may, however, post videos and screenshots from your Nintendo system features, such as a capture button on the Nintendo Switch. Well, what else do you guys have where the Nintendo system automatically captures video? And
well, that's probably the most exciting thing right there, is to thinking forward. When the next iteration of Switch comes out, will we be able to stream?
Well, hadn't they said that they wanted it to be able to do longer than 30 seconds eventually?
Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll get right on that. Yeah. Right. But still, I mean, there was a lot of people talking when the Switch, before it came out, like, ooh, I heard it's going to have a capture button. Maybe you'll be able to stream directly to Twitch like you could on PlayStation or an Xbox. Like, that would be nice, and that's something Nintendo down the road will have to think about and look at. Of, how much would we, just Jason and I, Twitch stream if we could just stream our Fortnite games, or Rocket League, or anything else just for fun. There a lot more Nintendo content would be seen by a lot more people if Nintendo just gave you the tools to just put it out there. So at least now they're allowing you to do this. So if you want to go through the pain of getting a capture card for your 3DS, or running your Switch into a capture device, you can at least do that without having to worry now. I remember years ago, the YouTuber Angry Joe, God, was that Smash? Was it the last Smash game? I think it might have been that many years ago. It was a classic video. He was just heaping praise on top of this, about what a great game it was and all this stuff, and Nintendo content struck him, and he vowed at that point, I will never, ever, ever talk about Nintendo games ever again. He's like, I'm throwing my Wii U in the trash. I'm done with you, Nintendo. He's like, here I am promoting your big game and talking about how great it is, and you guys just want to take money from me. And like, he's a big guy on YouTube as far as game reviews go. Maybe it was Zelda. It might have even been Breath of the Wild. I don't know, but anyway, it's a good thing. It's free advertisement for Nintendo, and now they're going to let people actually do that. So, hooray.
Yeah, I see that as a direction that they could potentially go, like if they set it up with Twitch or something else where you could direct stream more easily. But whether they actually go that way, who knows? If they decide to, though, this is a step in the right direction in terms of their rules, anyway.
Yeah, definitely. Very welcome.
And in case you didn't get the reference in the intro there, I think we all had our Mario Kart 8 content struck, even in years later.
Sharing it from the Wii U to YouTube.
I don't know if I ever
get
did.
Your content strike.
I only ever posted like 2, but I don't think they ever got struck.
They didn't strike all of them, but just some of them. So hopefully, if Nintendo will stay away from silliness like that, I think it's only going to mean good things for them.
And another thing I saw from some people on Twitter, that Nintendo, which I'll have to check on my YouTube, but which doesn't have anything on it. But some people were saying that Nintendo actually released all their claims on past videos that they had done.
Yeah.
So
you had posted that Twitter, like somebody had taken a picture of their Gmail with just like full of
emails of
claim releases.
Nintendo had released and in fact,
and it said Wii U stuff and 3DS stuff.
Yeah.
So it was obviously like old. Yeah.
My my channel actually only has one Mario Kart 8 video on it. And when I posted it, that the music has been removed from, I believe, because they recommended I mute the music from it so as not to get struck or something. But yeah, so that's all I've got. I put one up, it got struck, and I said never again.
That's another example of how disorganized they were under the, during the Wii U era.
Well, yeah, to put an actual feature into your game
and promote it as such.
To post it
yeah.
to YouTube and then
bust people for using it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello. Yeah, that's like, and I don't know why that didn't get more buzz at the time. Maybe just because nobody had a fucking Wii U at the time.
Yeah.
But right,
they were riding the crest of that the death stare from Luigi. They didn't need anybody else's help promoting that game.
Yeah.
They had the death stare. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, it probably is because nobody had that. And you notice that feature was absent from the Switch version.
Yeah.
I would also say that it wasn't
capture button, which is so stupid. Sorry, go ahead.
It was stricken from monetization, and I don't think I'd say the large majority of people posting their Mario Kart 8 videos through that method were not monetizing them. So
yeah, I was hoping to make a living off of my 30-second clips of Mario Kart or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Nintendo crushed my dream.
It's because we're all such elite players here. We would have broke them.
Didn't that let you post a full 3-minute race though?
Yeah, it probably did.
I think it did, which is cool.
It's the Switch that only allows 30 seconds.
Yeah. It defaulted to 30 though, but yeah, you could go screw with it and jack up to the whole race.
But Z probably has some sort of computer that he can maybe plug in his Switch into or something like that. Can you stream your Switch if you wanted to? Do you have the boxes and cables needed to go HDMI somehow into a?
Well, wait a minute. Well, wait a minute now. I never thought about that. Like, if you can plug a Switch into like a splitter USB hub box thing, right, to get HDMI out of it, it should follow I should be able to plug it into a PC. There ought to be something out there that lets me output the HDMI if I have this thing, if I'm playing it while it's plugged into a PC.
Isn't that what the Elgato kind of does?
Yeah. I mean, right, but it just occurred to me, why the hell can't I just use my Windows machine as an Elgato box? There's got to be there's, you know what I mean? It's got all the right ports and you know what I mean?
There's an app for that.
Yeah, exactly. There's got to be. I never really thought about it that way, but there's got to be. Like, right? I mean, you too, Mo. I mean, any of us that's got it, you too, Jason, Max, Barry, any of us that's got a functional PC, it's probably actually something that's doable. Now, whether you need to hack the Switch to do it or something, I don't know.
There might just be something that's HDMI to whatever that works as a video input. I don't know, but there's a way people can do it.
I ought to be able to plug it's USB 3.0. The speed should be fast enough. I ought to be able to plug it into a USB 3.0 port on my PC. Somehow, bada bing, bada boom, get it to come out the HDMI. Or not even come out the HDMI, just pick up the HDMI. Like, mimic the
come
splitter.
Out the Twitch.
Yeah, and make it just come out the Twitch. Exactly. I'm going to look into this, guys. And probably get us banned from Twitch for it.
No, because you can do it now.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, never mind.
That's what we're talking about. Jesus.
Oh, yeah. No, here's on this note,
it's
actually,
so ingrained.
It's surprised. I know. I'm just.
See, it's automatic. You've been abused for so long.
I know. Really, it's like
it's okay now.
You can come out of the basement now. It's okay.
Yeah.
No,
break those chains.
Something that has surprised me with the projector docks. It really did surprise me nobody made like an Elgato dock. It seems like that's something that somebody should have had out there before the projector dock to me, because that's right. Just the HDMI breakout is already there. You just have some kind of pass through. I don't know, but I guess that never showed up.
They were just trying to make a dock that didn't fry your Switch in the first place.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Which apparently those projector docks, I never heard that about. I don't know why the hell Nyko gets a Nintendo license.
Well, they only
48
sold like
Nintendo
3 of
don't.
them.
Yeah.
Now I saw a thread in Reddit the other day where somebody was asking if the Best Buy Insignia docks were safe.
Best Buy
and it
Insignia
pretty
products
much
in general are not.
Yeah, it pretty much came out that like Nyko was really the only one that seemed to have the issue
Oh,
for the
lovely.
most part. So it must have been something to the Nyko.
And they had the coolest design, man.
Yeah, it was probably just luck of the draw that
They just used the wrong, they picked the wrong chips
yeah.
or whatever. I don't know. I got that controller and it did not hold the Joy-Cons securely. Now granted, Nintendo's own Joy-Con grips after a couple tosses by the kid don't necessarily hold the Joy-Cons quite as securely as they used to, but still not as bad as that thing. They just slid right out. So, I don't know. I'm kind of down on the Nyko.
But anyway, good for Nintendo. Good for
Yeah.
YouTube.
Yeah, good for all the creators out there.
Good
You know
for
what
Twitch,
probably
yeah.
happened? Nintendo probably started looking at how much money they were making off of people who were in this content program. And we're like, we're making about $5 a year off of these people. Whereas we're missing out on this much money worth of free advertising. And it was just dollars and cents. Because like I said, to sign up for that, content creators, you had YouTube takes like automatically like 50% of your cut.
How much
and
more,
then you had to give like another 30% to Nintendo.
How much more money do they get out of, like from a marketing standpoint, does Epic get out of Ninja than for free, effectively? I mean, for gimmies, and now he's an employee, but when he started, they weren't paying him.
Yeah.
How much money have they gotten out of him, return on investment wise, versus Nintendo
Right.
springing for millions for a Super Bowl ad for 30 seconds? That's last century thinking.
And that's continuous. That's not a one-time thing. That's continuous engagement with people.
Exactly.
And then other people, if somebody gets excited about one game, somebody might do something in this new Smash, and then they'll go, oh, I wonder if I could try that. And then people come up with new techniques, and they're sharing them with each other online. And there's how-to videos and all this stuff that gets people like, oh, it looks like in this game you can do this and this. I'm going to buy a Switch.
It seems like with Nintendo Fun Club and with Nintendo Power and how they always try to promote the American CEO as like, a very customer facing person. You know what I mean? Makes a lot of appearances and is as much a, pseudo celebrity as an actual Nintendo rank and file employee, right? Reggie and Howard, whatever the hell that guy was.
Reggie is an IP.
Yeah, to some degree they kind of are. They're right. I mean, it's like when Reggie got hired for that position, it's like that, there was probably discussions to be had about, PR, and he probably had to go to, public relations classes or yada yada, because it's a big, you're the public face of the company and you make a lot of
Let me teach you how to deflect any rational question you might get asked.
But right, I forgot where I was going with that. I'm going to be doing that a lot tonight. It's been a long day.
That's okay. Jason's probably got more stuff we could talk about anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there is this little game that's coming out just after the podcast. You guys may have heard about it. This Smash Ultimate. I don't know if you guys heard of that.
I think it's getting an amiibo.
I think I'm going to be standing in line for the friggin' box set because I can only pre-order the game and the controller separately. Don't ask me why I'm getting that fucking controller. Don't ask.
You're a collector.
I don't have an answer for you. No, that's not.
You're a collector. You need it all.
No, the only answer I have involves vulgarity. I'm not going to talk about it. I should not be buying it. I understand that.
Okay, so anyway, we got some new information about Smash a little bit, and I thought this was kind of interesting. So if you have save data on your Switch from the Pokemon Let's Go games, either one of them, you can unlock their respective spirits in-game.
Which means now you got to go out and buy them both if you want to get both spirits.
Well, wait a minute.
Well,
I thought
that's,
though you can still collect them in game anyway, right? Just through gameplay.
that's right. Yeah, that was my first thought. I thought, oh great, they're locking things behind other games.
No, and that's cool. I totally remember Samus in Metroid Prime. If you had other Wii games, or was it other GameCube games on the memory card? I forget my generations now. I think if you had other GameCube games on the memory card in Metroid Prime, or maybe it was in Prime 3 on the Wii. But right, if you had save data from Zelda, Mario, whatever, you got like bumper stickers on the back of the ship. Does anyone remember this?
I do not, but I didn't play those.
I had a
I
couple.
remember something back from the Wii era where if you had Mario Galaxy save data or something would unlock in some other game, or I forget exactly what
Maybe
it was.
Maybe it was the Wii, and maybe it was Metroid Prime 3. It was one of the Primes. I thought they did something fancy with the memory card on the game too, but I might be wrong. But yeah, if you had save data from Zelda or Mario, you got bumper stickers on the back of your ship in Prime. So this is the same thing, and it's cool. I'm down with it. It's cute, and I like the fact that it's not anything. The bumper stickers kind of sucked because there was no other way to get them that I was aware of. Maybe, but
I'm remembering is something different because I never had those Metroid games.
Metroid games. Yeah, and I'm sure they did a few. I'm sure there were others. But I just mean it's right. It's a cute. It's a veiled incentive to go buy more stuff, obviously. But those are the kind of things that I remember as a kid that were kind of fun, right? Those little gimmicks to me, right? That was part of the whole little meta game and the whole little mini world, right? Borrowing your buddy's cartridge so you could get that thing on, in your game kind of thing, Pokemon, all that stuff. So this is continuing that tradition to me. I dig it. And I like the fact that it's something that you can otherwise get easily enough, or I assume easily enough. But
yeah, I remember going and renting,
and it is like a
renting a game just so I could have save data on it for it.
Yeah.
Went and rented a couple of them, I think, for that reason.
I remember doing that so I could get gold points under the my Nintendo. Oh wait.
Oh, you'd find cards in them.
No, you can rent the games and then cash them in for gold coins.
How?
Return it.
What?
That's it's only $8 to rent. That gets you 60 cents under the my Nintendo.
Oh, on Switch.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I was thinking old Club Nintendo. Right?
No.
All of us went through like that. Okay, so I'll throw that out since I picked up LA Noire for $10, which I'm happy about, but I still haven't even started. And God knows if I ever will, but I always do that every console generation when the first round of the third-party titles goes to $10 because the Nintendo ones never do. This is the only one. Doom's still full price, effectively. The Skyrim is, but anyway, LA Noire. I tried to register it just like a year and a few weeks, right? Year and a couple weeks after it came out. And nope, this game is expired. You can't get any gold points for it.
Yep, has to be within 1 year of the release date.
Now remember, on my Nintendo, they were pretty liberal with those expirations. Yeah. You could dig up some really old ones a lot of times,
which is funny because let's see. So basically, so if you get the Switch with Mario Kart 8, and I guess you wouldn't get points for that anyway because it's probably gives you a digital code. I wonder if it gives you the points for that or not.
Yeah, I don't know.
I wonder. But yeah, if you buy Zelda or
probably not
Mario Odyssey or any other evergreen titles, you won't get any points.
Under my Nintendo, you used to get points if you registered a new system, like a new 3DS or
the Club Nintendo.
I don't know if they still have that for.
Nope.
Nothing.
Nada. Didn't they give you like 50 platinum points with
the
initial release of the NES Classic?
Yeah, the NES Classic originally, which I don't know if it still does, but the NES Classic originally gave you some points. Yeah, it was like 50 or 100 points, and then they were probably platinum. I don't remember. Max's cat knows.
Max's cat just said, yeah, she thinks so
Yeah.
too.
But yeah, I don't know why like you would have a reward system that incentivizes you to buy games but not systems, but whatever.
I was looking up some statistics on total sales for certain series earlier today, and looking at the Zelda ones in particular, see if they'd caught up to other things, and was surprised to notice that the site tracking them counted every sale of a NES Mini or SNES Mini as a purchase of the Zelda games that were on that console. So I guess for any other, just like any other pack-in game on any other console, any of these minis you buy count as purchases for these like 30 or
Oh my
20.
God. Is that really so? Like if I go in the wiki and they say best-selling games of all time, all these, the 30 that are on the NES Mini and the 20 that are on the Super NES Mini are going to be like suddenly grossly inflated by millions.
Yeah, they just got an extra 2 million sales or 4 million sales or whatever.
Oh, jeez.
That, I mean, I don't know. Do we call that
Well,
fair?
technically they are selling those.
Do we
You know what
call
they
that
should
fair?
do? They should put Super Mario Brothers 1 on the App Store on the phone for 1 penny. And then they could count those as sales.
That would be the best-selling game ever
The best-selling game
human
ever.
history
Yeah.
for the
Well,
next
next to
1,000
Tetris,
years.
maybe.
Nah. Put it on the Android and iPhone App Store. Tetris is gone. Minecraft is gone. Oh yeah, for a penny. Does it have to
I
be
can
free?
almost.
Does it count if it's free? Sorry, go ahead, Barry.
I don't know.
I can see it sort of if you got one or two games as pack-ins with a console, a regular console. But with those minis, that it just seemed like such a stretch to me trying to do that.
I would agree. They've sold a lot of those crappy old Atari and Sega and whatever flashback consoles. You can't count those. That means some of these. I mean, because right, some of those consoles they pack 500 games, like 8 are games that you've ever heard of, and the rest are like weird homebrew crap they downloaded from the internet. That's like Atari 2600 is terrible. These games make Atari 2600 games look beautiful. Right?
Yeah, you're not buying it for any one of the given games.
Yeah, but I mean, statistically, each of those games is probably at least a couple million seller because they put out how many of these consoles. So they cannot justify that. They cannot. I'm sorry. They can give Nintendo the console numbers. A $60 console is still a console, fine. Go ahead, Jason.
I was going to say, do they count the NES games and Animal Crossing for the GameCube?
Probably not.
They can't. Because they're not individually purchased. They'd have because then they'd have to decrease. They'd have to take them from Animal Crossing's count.
Perhaps.
You're double counting it. You're including it.
I was glad that Barry brought up Zelda because that works very well into our next topic. And it's more information kind of tying into what we covered last week with the rumors on Zelda. So Eurogamer is now saying Nintendo is keen to have a Zelda game launch on the Switch every year. And they point out 2017 we had Breath of the Wild, 2018 we've got Hyrule Warriors. And
that counts.
There's this rumor.
Yeah, it's close enough.
Yeah.
So sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, and we've got all these rumors with another game coming soon. So
dude, as far as I'm concerned, I'll take bets on whether it's Twilight HD or Wind Waker HD. I don't think it's anything else.
Not Minish Cap?
Minish Cap HD.
Minish Cap HD.
That'd be a great one to pull out.
It's got to be the lowest hanging fruit available. It has to be.
So you don't think the Skyward Sword one is rumor is reasonable?
It's only reasonable if they really were prepping it for the Wii U. Maybe that was their goal for the Wii U, and it just didn't quite materialize. And maybe they're sitting on a Skyward Sword HD. I don't know. I'm kind of skeptical on that, and I think right? What we've seen from Nintendo is lazy ports, right? And I think that's what we should continue to expect, is lazy ports. And the laziest ports would be, right, yet again, Twilight Princess HD and Wind Waker HD. So
Maybe they could do an HD version of the Oracle of Seasons and whatever. Call
Oracle of
Legend of
Time.
Zelda
Time.
Blue and Legend of Zelda Orange.
they won't do a they definitely won't do an HD version of a 3DS title unless it would be A Link Between Worlds.
Speaking of the Warriors games, I did see December 6th, which is the day that this comes out, Koei Tecmo is announcing a new Nintendo Switch game. And some people have been saying, oh, it's going to be a new Warriors game or possibly a Ninja Gaiden game. But at the very bottom of their little teaser tweet, it says PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, and Windows. So I would think that would say another Nintendo Warriors game is probably not coming to PlayStation.
Yeah, it's obviously not.
Didn't they just announce a new Samurai Warriors game that's coming to Switch, supposedly?
Oh, well,
did
that's got to be it.
I haven't seen it. This just had a bunch of flames.
I might be
just
down
says
to check out.
12/6.
Would you pick that up, Jason? A Samurai Warriors on Switch?
It would be tempting. I don't know. I felt really
Pricing.
burnt with not the Hyrule Warriors, but the Fire Emblem Warriors. That kind of burnt me out on that. So I don't know.
Yeah, there's
Maybe.
only so much of that I can play. I didn't play any of those, so I think I could spend a little time with a Samurai Warriors. I like the historical setting and the real people, even though it's all kind of fanciful and over the top otherwise. But it's good stuff. I dig it.
Speaking of Fire Emblem,
was Fire Emblem coming up? It's always coming up.
There was a little something that happened.
That's right.
They've with a website.
Yeah, they reopened the Fire Emblem portal in Japan, I think.
Dun, dun, dun.
Wasn't that tied to some event or festival that was going on in Japan, particularly?
Well, there's an upcoming Fire Emblem event that's gonna happen, but I really think this is tied in with the release of the Fire Emblem game for Switch next year, Three Houses.
Yeah, I think so too.
And that Fire Emblem Heroes is doing excessively well. They even had a little promo art for Smash for launch with the Fire Emblem Heroes characters in it. So I think it's just time.
Yeah. There's a Fire Emblem Expo event that's supposed to happen in Japan next summer, and then the Three Houses game, spring, I think.
Yeah, spring.
2019. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I was just sorry to go backtrack a bit here, but just thinking of those two remakes that they did for the Wii U with the HD versions of Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. Both of those included extra features that were quite heavily based in Miiverse. The Tingle bottles was the whole reason they brought that character into that game. And then for Twilight Princess, they had a bunch of different stamps and things to use in Miiverse that you could find everywhere.
But they're...
Just strip all that out, but I don't know. It seems like that was still part of the era where they were still heavily pushing Miiverse.
Yeah, but so was Splatoon, right? And so
True.
They worked around that in Splatoon, but both of those games...
Splatoon 2 wasn't the direct port, though. Whereas if you're talking about just bringing over the ports they've already, or the HD remakes they've already done, they would have to tweak them again.
That's a good point. They'd be redoing a redo, basically.
Yeah, that's still much lower hanging fruit than producing something from whole cloth or porting something to HD that's not. You know what I mean? Those are bolt-ons that, like, what the hell can we do with Miiverse? The stamps and the bottle thing. Sonic had something stupid too. All the Sonic games were bad. Sorry. Anyway, I see that as being something very easy to strip out, and that nobody would miss, and that they can replace with Funky Link, easy mode, or something. Right?
I wonder if there's any other titles
a Linkle
that would be
mode,
good.
dude. That would be the Funky Kong mode. Would be a Linkle mode. I'm sorry.
Why,
Go ahead.
why does Zelda have to be the only franchise that gets these HD remakes?
Yeah.
Where's our Pikmin?
I want an HD
Yeah.
Galaxy. HD Galaxy, man. That's what I would go for. Or the GameCube one, Sunshine.
Galaxy 1 and 2.
Well, that's one of the other rumors too. Is if they do the Metroid Prime trilogy, it might get HD.
An HD, yeah. Which that one's been. People have been begging for that for a little while. Although, I mean, I bought the Wii U version, which was the GameCube ones, just on Wii U, because it was like $20, and I never played them still. But
that's the same.
It might not be a bad idea to hype people up.
I think they were $10 like the first week, right?
Yeah, whatever it was, they were cheaper than they normally would have been.
Yeah,
So I picked them up.
I nabbed them in that same thing. I never bothered. And they don't have my they won't take my save games because I had the individual ones before. So I'd have to start over from scratch anyway. It's like that. I'd love to be able to pick up where I left off.
I'd be happy even just with Prime 1.
Yeah, that's more than
such
enough
a gorgeous game.
Well, but it is, and I'd love to see an HD version, but at the same time, I never liked the feel of that game. Like, just as far as having played a lot of PC shooters and whatever, and when it made the transition to the Wii, don't get me wrong, I love the motion controls and the pointer shooting and all that business. I was all into it, but still the feel of the platforming always felt awkward in a way that Doom doesn't. Like, to me,
I was surprised with how much better Doom felt. Because Doom had a lot more platforming in it than I thought it would.
But same here. I didn't expect you get the jump boots at some point.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit, jump boots! What the fuck?
Yeah. Well, and just because there's double jumps, you get those, and there's like, jumping to a ledge and grabbing on and pulling yourself up. I didn't expect that, but
it was well done.
It was okay. Yeah.
It wasn't awkward. It felt like, it was rarely a time where it was like, what the fuck? Where am I? What am I doing? Whereas with Prime, it always felt like I was falling down. I never made that transition to hopping upstairs and stuff.
And sometimes falling down in that meant you have to backtrack through a whole section to get back up to just to the top.
Oh yeah. No, that was pretty much where I quit Prime. Either the first one or the third one, I don't remember, but was maybe both of them. But like, I went back to Prime 3. It was Prime 3. I went back to Prime 3 a couple times, and it's like, oh yeah, it's this fucking room with this spiral staircase thing that goes for like, 100 yards up or whatever of game distance, and it's like, fuck this, I don't want to play this. So I just stopped. I quit. So I'm at that point, and every so often I fire it up, and I'm like, nope, never mind. That's why I stopped playing this. So I think it could, if a reboot was well done and the controls were well done, and honestly, if it were a fucking third-person shooter, please, which it should have always been, but it won't be because it's Prime Series, so I know it'll be an FPS. But if it's done well, I'll love it. I didn't love the first three. I got pretty far into the first one and it was all right, but just didn't have Super Mario. They translated the feel of the 2D game into a 3D world so perfectly, and to a lesser degree, I think Ocarina of Time they did with Zelda. I'm still not all that much of a fan of Ocarina of Time, but it's its own thing, and I get it, and I know people love it. But this one, Prime always felt like a shooter with a Metroid theme, but not a Metroid game to me.
Yeah. Maybe we'll get other M.
Have the right feel. Yeah.
So many games.
Well, since we're
the rant has run out.
Yeah.
And since we're kind of talking about possible games coming out, I want to switch the possible games to a different console, if you will. Last week, we got a trio of trademark renewals from Nintendo: Kirby's Dream Land, Art Academy, Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story. And this week we got Fossil Fighters: The Last Story and a Wii trademark. All of these include, of course, program for a home video game machine, downloadable video game program, and most interestingly, program for a smartphone. Do you think Nintendo is setting up some options here to bring more smartphone games, or are they just covering the bases?
I can't wait for Fossil Fighters Mobile.
Well, or are they really from the various things, the various rumors we've heard, to me it smells like they're thinking of, because right, there's a lot of smartphone game emulators out there that people are using, RetroArch or whatever, on their phones, on their tablets, on their PCs to play a lot of their games. And it sounds like Nintendo's trying to jump into that and right, kind of give people a legitimate alternative, theoretically. Um, but it will be right. It'll be 3 NES games a month or some crap. But that's what it smells like to me, as opposed to, are you thinking more like mobile versions of things like a Fire Emblem, like the Fire Emblem game or the Pocket Camp game? Or you think they're going to make a dedicated mobile game like that? Or I'm thinking more it's going to be like emulated originals.
I'm intrigued by what they mean by a trademark for Wii. Now, is that referencing the console, or is that the sort of Wii series of games like the Wii Sports, Wii Fit, Wii?
Oh, that's got to be what it is. Really?
It was like I thought it was for the console itself. It was just for the Wii itself.
Maybe, but I like where Barry's going with that. That could be because of Wii Sports, Wii Sports Resort. There's a lot of games that just were Wii something. Those are the only two I can think of off the top of my head.
But
I mean, I could see a Wii Fit app of some sort that tracks your steps and things like that.
Yeah. There is actually kind of a Wii Fit game. I don't know if it's out yet or not. I think I saw it somewhere and I didn't realize it was Nintendo published.
What?
But I think it's called like Fitness Boxing for Nintendo Switch. And it's a workout boxing game.
I will laugh my ass off if
I don't think it's out yet.
I will laugh my ass off if they make the Switch support the Wii Fit board, because that'll be 3 generations of that thing. But they could do it.
Yeah. Well, it's like, it's not necessarily a first party title, I don't think.
It's just they published.
Yeah, they're just publishing it, but it looks like a shovelware from that period. Actually, I guess January 4th of 2019 is when they're going to release it, so it's not until January. But yeah, it estimates your BMI and your daily calories burned. And you can do a 10-minute to 40-minute workout. And it's going to include 20 unlockable hit songs, including Call Me Maybe. So if there's ever been a song that's made you want to punch, there it is. And it also says beats by Lady Gaga, Pitbull, and Kesha. So, and Maroon 5. So yeah.
I don't understand how those would be.
Sign me up.
Yeah, When I hear Maroon 5, I'm like, man, this is supposed to win the fight,
Looking at like screenshots and stuff of it, it definitely looks like the shovelware of the day, like when some company was trying to make a Wii Fit game that wasn't a Wii Fit game. So I'm sure once the price comes out, it's $60 now. Probably. Nope, it's $50. That'll help.
The Wii was quite the shovelware king.
Yeah.
I was complaining today elsewhere about how the PlayStation was, they say shovelware killed the Atari 2600, right? But it obviously didn't hurt the PlayStation. I would say it hurt the Wii. Yeah, I mean, right, shovelware on the PlayStation and the Wii. It seems like it's one particular console every generation. I don't know what it was last generation. Obviously, it wasn't the Wii U. If you count the eShop, if you count the Switch's eShop, I guess it is the shovelware machine.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah, it's getting that way anyway.
it's the shovelware only machine. Every other case, there's the big titles, and then there's all the shovelware. Here, there's all the shovelware, and there's no diamonds, there's no needles to be found in that haystack. It's all hay.
Yeah, it's a depressing eShop.
Yes.
Mhm.
They did have a really good sales though. I will give it that. There was like 200 games on sale in the last month.
That's why the idea of
That's what I want to see.
curated, a carefully curated game shop, which that's what Nintendo said. That's what a lot of people have said. We'll see if it comes to pass. And hopefully I'm not jumping topics. Or was that even a topic?
No.
No.
Should it be a topic?
Yeah, go for it.
That Epic's launching its own game store competitor to Steam.
Oh yeah.
That's
it's not really Nintendo news, but it's
significant. I mean, you guys are all into the Fortnite, so that's a big deal to you. I think it's significant because from the PC scene, there's never been a legitimate competitor to Steam. There's GOG and there are other things, but none of them are like Steam is the 95% and they are the 5%.
The only scary thing about it is that Fortnite regularly introduces updates and almost immediately disables whatever feature
they've added
is in they've added in the update. Like as soon as it comes out within the first hour, they're like, we're adding dynamite, and then like within the first hour, we've disabled dynamite due to an issue.
That was the thing. That was another reason I never really jumped on it on PC and it is probably just how my feed goes, and I would only get the negatives. But that seemed to be all I read.
No, I mean they usually fix it.
Yeah.
Except for Shadow Stones, I think took a couple days maybe, but
they're pretty quick.
Most of the stuff they fix it.
We'll
find out on Thursday. There's a new season that starts on the 7th, 6th. What day is it? 6th is season 7 starting, and the last 2 seasons, Fortnite has been disabled as soon as it gets launched. Like people get into the first game, and then they shut down and the servers and don't allow anyone to play it on the first day because so many people are trying to play it at the same time. I guess that it crashes their servers, but we'll see if they can handle it this time around. But other than that, I think it's cool. Like I said, the coolest thing about this Epic service is that it's going to give a bigger cut of the proceeds to the developers.
And again, to me, that's just smart business because they may change that down the road. But right now, they've been giving a lot of giveaways to devs lately. They've got the cash flow to do it. And I think the giveaways to the devs are just to try to get as many of them on board with this as possible because they want to become a legitimate competitor to Steam. And more power to them. I give it, but I don't see any sort of altruism in this. I see just pure business that you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. Right? This is a selling 12%. Point. Yeah, I understand that, but to me, that's just their budgeting for to try to sell people on the service. They're just undercutting Valve and everybody else. They're doing it. They're trying to. That's their selling angle. Is we'll do it cheaper. So I know what you're saying, and from a consumer standpoint, you can look at it that way and say more money goes back to the actual devs, and that's true, and that's great. And that to me though, that's really just a side effect of the business decision to say, right? Because at the end of the day, these guys are running a company that gives you a free game called Crack, and then tells you if you want more goodies for this game,
if you want the pipe, it's going to cost you
$20. Yeah, exactly. Or not even that. If you want pretty stickers for your pipe, it costs you. Those cost you money. It's all good, and I'm all for Steam having a legitimate competitor because they're really kind of a monopoly and not that they've been particularly greedy or dishonest or whatever, you know what I mean, as Valve as a company. They've been pretty good. It's just they've been a little lazy about things because and just because they have no competition. They have nobody that's beaten down their door that they have to be a step ahead of. So things like curation are gone to shit, and things like dealing with bogus accounts and pirating and people hacking accounts and like a lot of things just kind of like dealing with they their forums have become like where everybody went after Twitter started banning all the neo Nazis and shit, right? So like they don't, you know what I mean? They tend to just kind of seem to let the ship run. They fix things that break, but they otherwise just they're not very responsive to things. In general, there's a lot of complaints about that all the time as far as support goes, and I've had that experience. Support with Steam itself, and it's like, oh, this is it's a 5 or 10 year old article that I'm referred to that hasn't been updated since like 2008. It's like this no longer applies, dude. Where like there's a lot of things that are like that where the only support you can get is go on to some other forum and try to find other people with the same problem. There's no official things that come
Or get
down
it to
from
blow up on Reddit so that the company has to address
exactly,
it.
dude, exactly. People make enough of a stink, even on their own forums. If somebody makes enough of a stink, usually they'll address something. But it really takes significant effort to get them to address a lot of these kind of glaring issues that have been around for a very long time.
Yeah.
Well,
Curation's really going to be the key, I think, and that's something that's so difficult because it requires people and time, and
Well,
you
and
have to have a standard of what exactly does it take to be called a game.
it's also a paradigm shift, right? Like, well, to a degree, like it just there used to be such a high barrier to entry to get a physical cartridge produced and approved. You know what I mean? Like even a crappy game that would get submitted to Nintendo in the 80s was probably a reasonably functional playable game, right?
Yeah.
Whereas the kind of stuff
But
that
that was also in the day when anyone who was making a game had a studio for the
that's
most part,
well, yeah, and
you
that's what
know.
I'm saying is in the era of today, the YouTube era, where any schmutz with a friggin' phone can make a game and submit it to Steam. Um, like it's a sea change in the world of media in general. Like the rise of Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic and those
Yeah.
kind of sites. People need curation. People do not want to have to sift through the sea of shit themselves because
See, it
everything
should
is a
just be
sea of
like
shit now.
Survivor, where if it can't get up to a certain rating after
It's just
90
gone,
days, they just cut it. Yeah.
and it becomes public domain at that point.
Yeah. You lose all rights to your game if it's if it's a piece of shit.
The people can make memes out of it freely without.
Sorry, Jason, were you saying something? I cut you off.
Oh no, I was just going to say, just talking about changes that need to be made. I think we've all had a little bit of interaction with Epic. Do we think they are the company who can make these changes based on their business practices with Fortnite?
I don't know. I've heard. I hang around the Fortnite Reddit quite a bit, and I mean, most people don't have issues, but when people do have issues, I've heard that as far as and Fortnite is a whole nother animal. There's so many millions and millions of people playing Fortnite, but I've heard their customer service is pretty unresponsive to most things. People will have their account hacked, and it'll take them like 3 or 4 months to actually get their account back after emailing back and forth. Max has had an issue just trying to get two-factor authentication on her Fortnite account. Has emailed back and forth and had different issues. Although you said you did get an email at one point. But I don't know. I mean, I would imagine this is going to be a completely different animal, and especially with it being a new service, at least at the very beginning, they'll probably have an adequate amount of people to handle things at the beginning.
But
They've certainly got enough money to do whatever they need to do.
You also have to take complaints with a grain of salt. That right, their target audience is basically angry teenage boys, and so who's going to be the most bitter and vehement and blow up the Twitter about support.
Oh yeah, like one of the things that I see a lot of complaints about. So Fortnite is kind of interesting because it's got in-game purchases. They give you 3 lifetime refunds. That if you accidentally purchase something, you can get a refund for it. And something people always complain about is 3 refunds is not enough. You need to allow us to put refunds into the battle pass so we can unlock extra refunds. And it's because people want to rent these cosmetics and then, after 30 days return it. Like, hey, I want to wear this skin for a while and then I'll just return it. And it's like, although I will say in their defense, one thing that does suck is Epic does not have a confirmation screen
Yep.
for their purchases.
Yeah.
So if you hit the wrong button, and you happen to have enough money in your account, you automatically buy that thing.
I hate
just
the
boom
fact
there.
that has become a standard convention since free-to-play games became a thing. I've noticed. The Clash
If I want to
Royale, I
delete
go on
or
and on
add a
about
friend,
it.
I have to confirm it.
Yeah.
If I have to confirm that I'm adding Jason as a friend.
If I join a party, if I exit the game, if I start a match, I think starting a match doesn't confirm, but like so many things confirm. Purchasing doesn't. So I get that, but 3 times, come on, dude. Now a rolling thing like you get 1 per season or something like that would makes up to a max, of course. That might make a little more sense for long-term players or whatever, but 3 is, I would agree with you guys. Like,
Jason, have you used one of yours?
Boneheading once or twice is fair. Boneheading more than 3 times, that's on you, dude. Like, if I did it the 4th time, I'd be like, oh shit, I'm an idiot. And that would be it, because I'm an idiot for doing it.
And I think Max has had to use one of her refunds as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Once or twice is totally perfectly, that's human. 4 times, that's you just have to bend over and accept it if you do.
But people with kids and stuff like that, it's like I always worry about that. Luckily, my V-Buck balance is always low enough that I can't afford most stuff, but I always wonder about my daughter because she loves playing Fortnite, and I'm always afraid she'll figure out how to get to the shop. Luckily, she's not a big fan of the Z and L or the L and R buttons yet. So,
and I just want to point out, as far as making accidental purchases, I almost accidentally gifted something the other day, and
I would love that.
Oh yeah, I know, right? But it's because they've changed when they added gifting. They changed what the buttons do. Before it was like Y or something.
That's the other thing. You used to press X or something for it to show you, or like the sound of a pickaxe, or show you the animation of a glider. And now they've changed that to the purchase button.
Yeah, and changed it to sending gifts.
Yeah, because now you have to click in on the L stick or whatever to preview the item. So,
they didn't. No warning about that either. Hey, buttons have changed.
That's damn shady. Especially when
hey, the button that used to demonstrate the product is now the button that buys it.
Yeah.
But I did love that the first option under sending a gift is treat yourself.
Yeah. Well, what's funny is it allows you to type a message when you gift too, so people will do that. They'll send a gift to themselves and then put a message like, "Here you go, bud." They're going to be removing that gifting, but yeah, the good thing is with their Epic game service, though, is they will more than likely have to have a refund policy that's at least as good as Steam's.
Yep.
What if they make their store so it's all in V-Bucks?
Oh, that would be awful.
The only caveat is you have to buy our fake money with your real money, and you can only buy games with the V-Bucks that are shared with your Fortnite.
You can't buy the exact amount you need.
I'm sure V-Buck packs will be, like, if they have a best sellers list on their site, V-Buck packs will probably still be.
That is a complaint of mine too, is that V-Bucks you can only buy in $10 increments, unless you buy, they have like a skin every season that you can buy that you get like 600 V-Bucks or 500 V-Bucks or whatever.
600.
For
Oh, does
$5.
that
Yeah.
rotate every season?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So there's been 3 of them since we've been playing. Which I've got the first 2. I haven't bought the new one, but I probably will to get the battle pass. If the battle pass is good.
You're going to buy it anyway.
Yeah, probably.
Yep. We
I
should
know
add
we're
a
all
little.
going to.
We should add a little celebration here. All 3 of us did hit tier 100 this season, which I think we're all very proud of.
Yeah.
And so one of us hit season level 100, which was much more of a grind. And of course, that's Mo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Grind master.
that's right.
But hey, it was nice this year because I hit it last season as well, and you got nothing for it last season. This season, they at least give you like a little icon and a banner and an emote, spray, stuff like that. So that was cool. Big things coming up. Game Awards coming up. There's supposed to be something happening there. Find out tonight after you listen to the podcast. It's an exciting time for Epic, I guess. And they've been flooding the market with garbage toys. So
Yeah.
that's always the sign that you've arrived.
Cardboard buses.
Poorly painted action figures, T-shirts. I saw some of the Walmart displays had a space in there for posters. You know,
Hey, where are
got a
you?
Fortnite poster.
You like that?
So yeah, I am logged out currently.
Yeah, sorry guys.
You're fine.
Clash Royale in the background. I was checking
No,
in on
that's
my
fine.
wife.
But yeah, it's cool.
Anyway.
It's game related.
I'm
It's all legit.
I'm excited for Epic to do this and get some more. We can always get more competition in a world where I constantly see this news station has been bought by this conglomerate, and this radio station group has been swallowed up by another one, and this cable company has been swallowed up by another one. It's nice to say, hey, there's a new something in the world.
But it's not really new. Epic's been around a long time, and now they're like a huge behemoth of a company. I don't know. But on the flip side, there's Tencent, which is Chinese and scary. So I'd like to have a giant game company on this side of the world as well. And I mean, again, they're a legitimate competitor to Steam, and as we were talking about earlier before the podcast, right? Steam is really PC, Mac only. These guys, right? Fortnite's everywhere. So these guys theoretically can have a storefront that includes, a curated storefront with iOS games and console games and PC games.
I don't know if I could. I don't think any of the consoles would ever go for that. I don't think.
What about could they get away with it with all this, like these eShop games that we're getting that are not related directly to one of the main companies, not a first-party title? You know what I mean?
An option to buy them that way.
Buy them there and
I don't think they would ever give up their cut.
Yeah, you're right.
That's the thing.
They wouldn't be able to get around that with the console manufacturers.
Unless they said they were going to pull Fortnite from the console if you don't play ball.
They might have enough clout to be able to do that.
Yeah. The thing is, Fortnite's the flash in the pan hot thing right now. We all know that doesn't last. I was even thinking about that with Rocket League, which was not even probably half as big as Fortnite ever was. Like, how can they sustain? Like, now that they're just starting these battle passes. But Fortnite's, Rocket League's had maybe 3 or 4 years now that it's been out. Battle Royale's only really been out for a little over a year right now. But I wonder how long can it sustain. But I would think that they probably have done okay by the Unreal Engine as well.
Yep, that's true.
I think they had a little bit of money before all this.
And
but no. but not Fortnite money.
So talking about people that have a lot of money,
Yeah.
brings up to the next topic, and that is everyone's favorite CEO, and that is Elon Musk. Apparently, this come up through Twitter. According to the tweet, they approached Nintendo for a collaboration of an in-game, or not an in-game, but rather an in-car version of Mario Kart. And Elon Musk said Nintendo was not interested in this collaboration.
Wait, it was an in-car version of Mario Kart?
Yep.
Meaning,
you could play it on the screen while you're recharging your car.
And I'm trying to remember. I vaguely looked at it. I don't put any stock in it because Elon Musk is a hardcore meme man, and he loves messing with people.
He's a Trump era. Yeah, he's a Trump era tweeter. I kind of don't buy. Yeah, I kind of don't buy it.
But somebody had posted to him because he was saying that his new car was going to have, because I guess Teslas have, some of them have little games built into them, and
I've heard about that.
He likes having cool and he's got little Easter eggs built into the cars and stuff. And somebody had said why not Mario Kart? And that was basically what it was. Someone said, how about you put a version of Mario Kart where you can play against random people who are also charging their car at the same time? And he said, we tried. Nintendo won't license it to us.
It is possible that, that he just had somebody reach out. Nintendo's like, no, thanks. And that it was a 30-second phone conversation.
That could be, but on a slow news week, every outlet will pick this up, and they did. And they do it like it's fact,
Yep.
Elon Musk shut down by Nintendo.
That's the modern news. Yeah. Elon Musk obliterated by Nintendo. Yeah. That's the way of the world these days.
Whether it happened or not, though, it's still an interesting idea, and I think we can all say it's still that it could have been possibly real, whether or not it did happen.
Nintendo might have turned it down because they had that thing with the Nintendo Mini and some car commercial in Japan, right?
It could have been. That's true.
Oh yeah, that was it a Honda commercial or whatever that was?
I think it was.
It showed somebody playing Super Mario 3 inside. They didn't actually show a mini. They just showed somebody playing.
Oh yeah, on the screen.
Yeah, Super Mario 3.
Because it had HDMI in.
It was showing its HDMI. Showing off that it had an HDMI port. So we surmised the only way that could technically happen would be if they had a mini. But where would they plug it in? I guess they could do that now.
USB brick.
Yeah.
Well, actually, all the cars have
plug in to USB as well.
Yeah, all the cars have USB these days, or you get a little thingy for it.
An adapter. Not a little thingy.
It's a little thingy. Right? It does kind of look like a small penis. Right? It goes into the socket.
I wouldn't know. I've only ever seen large ones.
Before we go any further this way, we are going a different direction and talking about some sad news.
Oh.
And it was kind of sad news. I don't think, as we had our little discussion earlier, I don't think anyone has much love for this company, but it does seem that GameStop is not doing so well.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
Nobody, yeah. Like we all. But, there was some kind of hints that they were doing pretty well, or a little bit earlier in the season, that those seemed like that can't be right. But as soon as you hear this news, it's okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
And this was big. The number of it is what, if I worked at a GameStop, I'd be kind of shitting right now.
The numbers all come from the third quarter financial results from GameStop themselves.
This is 1 quarter.
Yeah, this is just for 1 quarter. And while their total global sales increased by 4.8%, hardware, software, accessory, and digital sales all increased between 12 and 32%. 6.2%. Pre-owned was down by 13.4%, but they had a net loss of $488 million in the third quarter alone. And you think, okay, that's bad. But then they followed up with the news. It would have been a lot worse if we had not sold a company that we own, Spring Mobile, for $700 million. So that is a scary negative number there. A loss.
What?
Of,
Has anyone
which means
ever
this
heard of
next
that mobile
quarter they're
company
going to
they
lose
sold, by the way?
11 million. Yeah. No, there ain't nobody. But that means next quarter, plan on them losing 11 million. Because they're not going to have the 7 million or whatever.
No, it was 488 million in sales.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what is that good up to $1 trillion? Is my math right?
Billion.
$1 billion instead of $1 trillion. Excuse me. Thank you, Barry.
Yeah.
Someone's
But
saying it.
this,
more money than we have.
with their sales up in all those departments, now I know that probably the used is a very lucrative part of their sales.
Well, that's the problem. A console you don't make any money off of. New games you don't make any money off of. Digital games you probably make about the same as what you make off of the console ones, which I still can't believe. I guess people buy it for gifts. Would be the only reason you'd go to a GameStop to buy a digital game. But yeah, the used games, that's where they mark stuff up 200% or 300%. That's the part everyone always complains about. It's like, hey, I'll give you $1 for your game, and then I'll sell it for $25. But you're also bringing that to them because you didn't want to play it anymore.
They're giving you something rather than it sitting on your shelf.
Neither did anyone else.
And the people who are selling them games are usually taking the money they get and putting it right back into new games at the store.
Yeah.
So
I had a friend 20 years ago that was doing that. He was the guy, and I think this is probably less common now, but it was a culture back then of people that would buy whatever the hot new game was, GTA 3, and you play it for a week, you beat whatever you want to beat of it, and you bought it for 60, you bring it back, you sell it to them for 30, and you put that 30 towards whatever game came out this week. And they're basically just renting games at $60 a pop for a week, and then returning, getting half their money back, and just continuing the cycle. And I don't think that happens quite as much anymore. Plus, with digital taking over more than physical, that's obviously eventually going to kill them when everything goes digital. But I don't know at what point they were making so much money that they can sustain these losses quarter after quarter.
Yeah, I can't believe they're not totally gone 6 months ago. But as far as the used game rotation thing goes, I remember going into those stores and seeing the people years and years ago bringing their stacks of games and all the time, and just thinking and hearing the numbers, listening over the shoulder, and we'll give you what. I'm just like, are you kidding me? That was kind of where I got the mindset in my adulthood, is I'm never going to trade these in, because it's that was never worth it. Now on eBay,
but if you
and
need
rare
crack,
stuff, it's different.
Crack.
Yeah, no, fair enough, I suppose. But nowadays, the only couple times I've ever seen anybody, unloading stuff, they're unloading like the last time I saw it was some dude rolled in with a couple PlayStations, an Xbox, and a thug basically rolled in.
That's what I see a lot at my local game stores.
Yeah, that's all I ever see.
I just happen to have 3 Xboxes and 4 PlayStations that I'd like to get rid of.
Yeah, yeah, no, and just in bags full of games that obviously, he has no idea what they are. It's just how much cash can I get for this? I mean, hey, maybe he picked them all up at garage sales. Who knows?
Yeah, and he just went to the pawn shop and sold a ring that still had a finger attached. But yeah, and I wouldn't personally. I guess some people do, buy that stuff as gifts, and I've heard people who don't have the money for a new system will go and buy their kids a used system for Christmas. I'm sure that happens, but I don't think the used, especially a current gen, I don't know how many people want to go out and buy a used Switch or a used PlayStation. But
Well,
Well,
maybe.
my major
I don't know. One time I was there looking at a pair of pre-used Joy-Cons or something. The price wasn't that much better than a new
yeah,
pair anyway.
yeah.
that's the thing is
Mhm.
I see posts on comments on things all the time of people talking about, buying something used from GameStop. Never actually been there when somebody did. And yeah, whenever it's something used, it's like, oh, get 10% off if you buy one that, a kid has shoved a salami sandwich into once or twice. Like, are you kidding me? Like, yeah, it's right. It's literally like 10 to 20% off a lot of times the price
Yeah.
of the full retail console. And it's like, you're joking, man. That's something like it's not a factory refurbished model here we're talking about. This is something some schmuck brought in off the street in a box, and you're
Yeah.
selling back to me like and you probably gave him $50 for it.
Although
Yeah,
occasionally they do have decent deals where you can like
once or
trade in
twice.
your Nintendo Switch and get like, whatever it is, $200
Uh,
towards a new Nintendo Switch.
somebody
Like
did
if
that
you want
with
the
the Wii
Smash
U.
edition or whatever. Yeah.
My one of my coworkers did that with his Wii U, and it worked out really well because he traded in the Switch or the Wii U in a couple games and got like $200 towards the Switch.
Yeah.
So he took advantage of some special deal and really worked it and got a good deal, but those are few and far between. I did that like once, where I basically traded in a couple cartridge versions because I'd like bought two cartridge copies of Mario Kart, one for me and one for the wife, and a couple other games I did that. So I went and traded in the cartridges for digital versions, and it, all told ended up costing me an extra $5 or something, which is unheard of
Not
now.
bad.
Yeah. But nowadays, I've never seen such a deal. I've checked here and there. I've never seen a deal anywhere near that good since that was, years back.
I just don't go there.
Yeah.
I try not to ever. They, isn't there an exclusive amiibo? Which one is it?
Oh, they had the Knight of Solaris one, I think.
Oh, for Dark Souls.
Dark Souls.
Oh, okay.
It,
No,
And did they have the Diablo one too? Was that
oh shit!
exclusive?
yeah.
That's
Yep.
the one.
They also had an exclusive ship for Starlink, I noticed.
Oh, not a. Hey, by the way, Barry, just for my info, are there any Star Fox specific? I don't remember ships like extra sets.
Not at this time. I don't know. I've heard a
Okay.
few people, asking if there might be they might come up with like a Falco pilot or something. I don't know,
Oh, okay.
but
But nothing,
there's been
nothing
nothing
so far.
announced.
All right. So basically, there's nothing else I have to buy for this.
Judging by
Oh.
the fact that the game's like $30 everywhere, I don't think they're going to be coming out with a whole lot more.
Yeah, I don't. That's disappointing. I mean, everybody, Barry, you've given
Those
it
will be
good
collectible,
reviews.
though, I bet.
I've heard positive things about the game from everyone who's played it.
I noticed it was back up to full price this week. It was, they
Well,
brought the price down. They're probably just trying to get the install base up. I don't know, but we'll see how it goes from here on out and how it looks on Boxing Day.
I'm guessing it sells the best on Switch because of the Star Fox thing.
and
Like,
because of the target audience.
yeah.
Yeah, it seems to be by far. And actually, I should say, I've seen it back up to regular price generally in stores. When I looked on Amazon the other day, the Switch version was still close to full price. The other versions, I think PS4 was down an extra 10%, and Xbox was down like 30% in terms of
Well,
their
yeah.
price for a new one.
That's the way games drop on other systems.
Well, but also I that's kind of funny that it's that way. I assume that directly relates to sales figures on said systems. Right?
And was this the Nintendo one that came with the
And
chip? or just
Yeah,
the
the
regular base
Nintendo one
version?
comes with the R-Wing and Fox.
So right, because the
But-
PlayStation's got the biggest install base, but I'm sure that the Switch is beating it in terms of sales for this game, particularly, especially with the Star
I don't
Fox
think
bundle.
people on PlayStation or Xbox were necessarily looking forward to this game launching.
I know for
No,
for
but
a
there's enough
fact
kids with them that probably thought it with those consoles that probably thought it was cool. Sorry, Barry.
I know the sales figures I saw in England, definitely it was like 85% Switch sales or something like that.
Oh wow.
So you can imagine that the store, like think places like Amazon that have a warehouse full, they've got lots more supply for the other consoles. So they're going to want to move those more.
That's true
instead
too.
to drop that one.
But that's what I mean is I'm just saying the Xbox version is probably selling like, sand in the desert or whatever. I can't think of a good analogy, but right, it's got to be selling terrible.
Yeah, I think if you're gonna get it, the Switch has got the definitive version that you'd want to get because
that too.
The toys to life aspect.
And hey, it's probably the closest thing we're going to get to a Star Fox game in a while, if not ever on Switch. Except for like Star
Fox 64 HD. Milk it, baby, milk it.
They will milk the shit out of it. I do not doubt that they will do that.
Before we leave lamenting GameStop altogether, there's a game that I know is one of Max's favorite games that is finally getting released on Switch. And it's just a very unfortunate set of circumstances. It is being released this Friday, same day as Smash, and it is GameStop exclusive. Katamari Damacy Reroll.
Wait, what?
Yeah. It's finally coming to Nintendo.
And it's this is
released on Friday.
GameStop only?
Yep.
Physical.
Oh, the download is going to be on the eShop.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
So when you go to pick up your copy of Smash, also pick up Katamari Damacy.
Is that? I don't know. Is that worth picking up on physical? How much is it going to be?
Like 30.
Same. Is download going to be 20?
I
Are we
don't
getting
know.
a Switch tax on this? I'll have to look this up.
I don't
If
know,
it's the
there's a
same
demo on
price,
the
I might try to pick
Japanese.
it up. Because that was something I would pick up.
There's a demo on the Japanese eShop.
Yeah, if you haven't played it,
I don't know why they do that.
it's in
either.
English.
Yeah.
Oh, it is. Oh, I'll grab it. I mean, I'm going to buy it anyway. Unless there's something horribly wrong with it, I'll read reviews.
Yeah, I don't know why they do stuff like that, where they will release a demo in one eShop, but not in all of them. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But
It's being released.
yeah.
And on the 7th, the day the game comes out. On our eShop.
But yeah. It looks like it's 30 on the eShop and it is 30
physical
at GameStop. So.
Are you going to go to GameStop, Max?
Yep.
Yeah?
You ever have it?
I might. Is it going to be available online or is it going to be in store only? Is it going to be one of that BS?
You can get
No,
it
I haven't.
I can add it to my online cart right now.
Really? I'm gonna pre-order the physical right now. Because they no longer, random point of note, they didn't charge me any handling on the LA Noir. It was $10 plus tax. I just had that used to be, as far as I know, they didn't have a no rush option before with no handling. Like if you wanted to buy something from there, you had to pay the requisite $5 or whatever, period, on top of whatever the listed price was. So now it seems like if you're willing to wait, which I totally am. I got a kid. I don't have time to play this stuff right when it comes out usually. So yeah, I'm totally willing to wait a week or whatever. That's how long it took me for my LA Noir. If I don't have to pay shipping, so I'll do that as soon as we wrap tonight. Thank you for mentioning that.
Cool.
Also, I saw a Ridley amiibo at Walmart the other day.
What?
Wow.
Just sitting on the shelf.
I thought those weren't supposed to be out till 7th.
They're not.
Huh?
And there's been people posting their pictures of them buying it at Target as well. And the one I saw, I can't remember. I think the price tag was on it, and I thought it was like $12. And the Target ones were $12 as well, but if you look at the price, it's $14.99 everywhere. But yeah, I think I posted a picture the other day when I got it. I didn't buy it. I pre-ordered one from Best Buy with the
20%.
With my so.
Walmart doesn't even have Amiibo.
Yeah, $12.96 is the price tag on it.
So wait, Wolf, Ridley, and
Inkling
are the only 3 that have been announced so far?
The Inkling. There's going to be Isabel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, don't you remember from the Smash Direct? They're coming out in what, 3 waves?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But it's all right. So the first wave is just those 3? Or mine?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
First is Inkling Girl, Wolf, and
Ridley.
And,
okay. So I've got the 2 I care about pre-ordered.
Yeah.
Not that I don't.
And also, I think
like
the
Girl, but I
Octo
have
free
her already.
pack's coming out pretty soon for Splatoon.
Oh, thank you for reminding me. Yeah, those I think
Not
come out
that
the same
first
day.
one.
So I've got like 5 amiibos that are all going to show up at
Yeah.
my house, and it'll be like Christmas in 2016 again. 15, 14.
Good times.
Yeah, there's the last breath. But also they're remaking stuff. Like I know I saw something a week or so ago, the King DDD that was like a Best Buy exclusive that was sold out before it was probably even released. That was being remade, the Smash version of that. So there are remaking some of the other amiibos. So hopefully, if you missed out on stuff the first time, you'll have a chance to pick some up. If you still want them, even.
I imagine the production process is refined enough that they can just call up the old design and spit out more. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a return of the entire Smash line, in waves and rotations and whatever, but, and probably without a lot of rare BS these days, right? I don't think we'll see a ton. I think we'll see just enough. And none of the rare oddball stuff. They'll all be available in waves. If people want them, they'll be able to get them all, right? You'll be able to grab the ones you missed. I still want Player 2 Cloud. That's all I'm missing. I guess
I don't know about those.
So, like I guess the Inkling is the only Splatoon one, or the only Smash one that I technically won't have. I guess I'm going to have to buy it. Damn it. Even though it's exactly the same as the Splatoon one.
Yeah, it's got a different base.
That's damn near the only difference. It's a minor redesign of the exact same character and pose.
It'll be on the Smash base.
Yeah. Oh well.
You need it.
I saw Target's got an awesome deal where you buy Smash, you get a horrible, ugly skin for your Joy-Con grip and controllers. But then I was like, well, it's not necessarily worse than the actual Joy-Con design for the bundle.
I know somewhere was doing like caps for your joystick for the sticks.
Oh yeah, was that GameStop? I think maybe.
No, GameStop's doing the poster, right?
Oh. Yeah, I do know what you're talking about. Somebody had little caps for the Joy-Con sticks that just go over the sticks that have the little Smash logo on them.
Those actually look kind of nice, I thought.
Yeah, not bad. People would buy those if they sold them. Nintendo's thinking, why didn't we think of that?
It would be a nice touch to have on these special edition controllers and stuff. It'd be a little extra touch.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe available through the special offers on My Nintendo or the Nintendo Online service or something.
That would be something to be able to buy.
I have seen plenty of tweets reminding you that, hey, you're still entitled to get these controllers for $60 if you subscribe to the online. This is the way our Nintendo Switch Online was meant to be played, with the original controllers.
I don't think they'll help.
No, I go in there every now and then and I look around. And...
Wait, you just reminded me. When are my controllers supposed to show up?
Eventually.
December, isn't it? Kind of fun.
I think they're supposed to show up. Oh no! But that 8BitDo adapter is supposed to show up on Friday also, so I can play wireless. It's the 8BitDo version of the Wavebird, sort of. You know what I'm talking about? The little adapter so you can plug your Smash controller in and plug in wireless.
I have seen at Best Buy that they do have wireless GameCube controllers for your Switch now. A
Generic?
Pro controller.
Do you know who makes it?
I can't
Power
remember. I think they're probably Power A.
Yeah.
But it's you wouldn't know it wasn't Nintendo unless you knew. Unless you're someone like us.
Looking on the back.
The box says Nintendo Switch has the official logo and all that stuff on it. And I've seen wired ones.
Yeah, the wired ones have been around a while, but I haven't seen any wired ones.
Mid-December is still what Nintendo is saying, by the way, on your Nintendo Entertainment System controllers. So they still don't know, but they didn't know when the online was launching either.
Yeah.
Maybe by Christmas.
If you're lucky. I think they're really scrambling to get them out by Christmas, and I think we'll get a please understand direct, a week before.
They'll say they were overwhelmed by the demand.
Are they dropping a big, anything big? Like we get how many games? We get 3 games a month.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what are this month's 3 games? Ninja Gaiden,
Adventures of Lolo,
and Adventures of Lolo that all of us have heard good things about but have never played. This is what people are being given to use their fancy new NES original controllers on. Like,
Yep.
You couldn't drop us. Is Punch out yet?
No.
It is, right?
No, it's not even been teased.
So, right? They couldn't. Why not this month for Christmas and for the people getting their controllers who probably aren't, I guess, this month. But assuming they were, wouldn't they drop like Punch Out and
Super Mario Brothers 2?
Oh, are we still
already
missing
got
Super
Ice
Mario
Hockey?
2?
Nope.
No, Nintendo Ice Hockey was good shit though. Don't.
Wario's Woods is coming, man.
Yeah, Wario's Woods. That's the crap one I couldn't remember.
That, by the way, I believe was the final game ever released on the NES, original NES.
Oh, really? Interesting.
I think. If I remember right.
Final official. Yeah, officially licensed.
Yeah. Yeah, Wario's was December 1st, 1994.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
They really milked that machine, man. That was 11 years after it initially launched in Japan.
Speaking of consoles that are past their due date.
That's right. We need to move on to the next topic, and that is a very interesting prediction. So, a report from Global Game Console Market Forecast, which you all have heard of, I know. Okay, well, the report was called that from a Strategy Analytics Connected Home Devices Service. So anyway, they say, in 2019 unit sales for consoles, they're predicting that the Switch will sell 17.3 million units, whereas the PlayStation will sell only 17.1. So they believe in the coming year, in 2019, it's the year, because of Sony's aging console, the Switch will finally pass Sony's PlayStation 4.
For same year sales.
For same year sales, not for total sales, of course.
Right.
And that's such a low bar. I mean, no, Sony ran away with it this generation. All right, I'll hand it to Sony.
Generation.
No, they didn't really.
Maybe not last generation. I guess,
last gen was Microsoft, and the gen before that was sort of Nintendo. Kinda, but one could argue, Sony had a good enough showing that it didn't really matter. With the PS2. But yeah, I don't. We're picking up the scraps as always, right? There's no longer Nintendo and the big boy consoles, or at least not for this gen. There's the big boy console, and then there's everyone else. right? That's why Nintendo and Microsoft
Yeah.
are collaborating. So I get it, and it's still a milestone, but it's not anything to celebrate or really even bother pointing out. Just like
I'm sure the
Nintendo
PlayStation
sold this
5 is
mini.
going to get announced anytime now.
Yeah, and people will buy it, and it probably won't be. It'll be as not as substantial an upgrade as the Pro was over the base 4. But sorry, go ahead, Jason.
I'm saying they'll also be dropping the price of the PlayStation 4 further, which will probably increase sales.
Well, yeah, I guess they're gonna.
But
That
will
was
we
the
get the
thing.
Super Switch next year, you think?
Well, and also, will we see the PlayStation? The original PlayStation 4 was that sweet Black Friday deal with Spider-Man, and they had another one for $200. Like that was how much the PlayStation 3 was after the PlayStation 4 had already come out, and it was that was like the last big deal on that, because I remember I picked that up. And it seemed like, I don't know, I didn't pay that much attention because I already had one, but it seemed like they mostly disappeared from the market. I never really saw them under, much under $200 anyway, probably down to 150. I don't think I ever saw them any cheaper than that before they just weren't being sold anymore. So that makes me wonder about the PlayStation 4 base. Is that on its way out? Is the Pro going to be all you're going to be able to buy coming soon?
Possibly.
And in which
Perhaps.
case, that kind of resets the generation a little bit. It puts Nintendo further behind, basically. If Sony says, okay, now this is the Pro is now the official console, and the base 4 is no longer really the thing anymore. We're not selling it anymore. That puts Nintendo kind of another half generation back when they're already a half generation back.
Yeah.
And that hurts us more for third-party titles, et cetera, et cetera.
Redesign's always a possibility. With native Twitch streaming.
I thought there was
4K Switch.
That'll be a redesign of the dock, I think. I'm convinced. Sorry, Jason.
Speaking of video game redesigns, I thought there was some interesting quotes listed in the same article, and I'll read through them right quickly. The first one was that video game console ownership has been rising again in recent years, and it is said that 45% of North American homes and 20% of Western European homes now own at least one console.
What are they counting as a console?
It could.
Do we
I don't know.
Because
that was
the Roku can play games. The Amazon Fire Stick can play games. Hopefully, they're not trying to count those. On the flip side,
I don't think so.
I guarantee you they're counting all the minis, which shouldn't probably really be counted.
Well, their next quote kind of followed up. Probably will clarify it somewhat, and this kind of goes to expanding games or what a console is. And the quote is, contrary to some expectations, the global TV games console market remains healthy. Many pundits have written it off over the years for reasons ranging from the emergence of cloud gaming to the dominance of mobile devices and the arrival of VR. But it refuses to die. And in fact, there is an argument that the enduring appeal of the TV games console, now in its sixth decade, continues to demonstrate the weaknesses and limitations of alternative games platforms. I thought that was really interesting how long game consoles have been around and how they continue to go on.
They're still the easiest. Like, I have a fancy gaming PC, so does Dana. But still, like I I can run emulators on my PC. I hack the Mini because it's a more convenient, simpler way to just plug it in the TV and sit down and play with my friends. That's exactly what the console's premise has been from the get-go. Is, well, in the old days, it was all you had. It was really your only option. It was a machine for playing games you plugged into your TV. But what it's evolved into, is really the simplest possible machine for plugging in and playing games on your TV. There are other ways you can do it. You can cast your phone. The wife and I occasionally cast Clash Royale to the TV just for fun, to watch it on the big screen while one of us watches while the other person's playing. So there's other ways to play games on your TV. I have my Steam box that I got for $6 off of Steam. so I can stream my PC to it, and it works great. It's just it's more clicks and it's more hassle and it's a little more overhead and headache to get a game up and running, right? And it's a little more quirky and it's a console at its best lets you just pop in a game, or these days click on a game, and as quickly as humanly possible you're playing that game, and that's that. You don't have to worry about anything else. That's what a console is designed to do, and good ones do that perfectly, right? Just get you to your game, period. And that was the mindset behind the Switch, right? The clean, simple interface, yada yada. Get you to your game as quickly as possible, and forget all the extraneous BS. And so, to a degree, I appreciate that design standpoint. But once again, I forgot where the hell I was going with that. Which shouldn't
That
really
might
kill
be
the conversation like that when I do that. I
that
guess it
might
does.
be why they're predicting the Switch will pick up a bit of extra too, because out of sheer convenience, not only can you do all that, but you can also pick it up and take it with you if you want to continue and go elsewhere.
Yeah, that design philosophy they tried to extend, okay, and they got it. That's right. That was what Nintendo was working towards. Is this the simplest, right? The simplest way to merge a console and a handheld. They tried to take that design philosophy and extend it to how do you make this simple console for playing games as simple as possible, but also that you can take it with you as simply as possible. And again, they nailed that part. Just the stuff you can play on it is the part they kind of screwed as usual. With with a handful of notable exceptions, as always.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, for me personally, dealing with the Switch, it's almost taken on the handheld mode. It's almost the convenience of having a phone game or something. You can just have it sitting on the table by the couch or wherever you're at. Just reach over, pick it up, and start playing the game instantly. No setup required or anything, and it's convenience goes a long way.
It's as easy to take to bed or to the toilet as my phone, almost.
Yeah.
Easy enough. Like I'm taking
If
3
only
days
it had
off next week.
Netflix.
Next week, I'm taking 3 days off the week after next. To travel with the wife, right? Road trip, and I'm bringing it. We'll be playing some Mario Party. Obviously not in the car while I'm driving, but technically I could do 1-2 switch while I'm driving. I don't have to look at the screen, right?
Yeah.
All I got to do is wait for the fire sound and then, snap my wrist with the little Joy-Con in my hand. I could do that while I'm driving.
I would love to see drive by someone on the interstate and you look over and you see they're playing 1-2 switch.
Maybe I'll try to stream it on Twitch for you guys to watch.
That would be awesome.
That would be great.
I don't know if they got good enough internet on the 5 that far out, but we'll see.
Probably not.
Probably not. Anyway,
But there is one other little Sony tidbit that we wanted to get into, and that is talking about Sony's new Mini, and of course this draws a direct comparison to Nintendo's two very successful mini consoles that have been launched, the Super NES Mini and the NES Mini. And I know this is Z's specialty here, and he's been getting into this, so I'll just let him explain what he found.
I'm the one that crammed this topic in. Yeah, I mean, right, we've all kind of been watching it, and it's funny and annoying to see Sony ape Nintendo yet again. But it's just right. I can't think of any major step Nintendo, anything successful that Nintendo has done that Sony hasn't tried to copy. I mean, right, the PlayStation itself was Sony simply trying to get in on Nintendo's action. I mean, granted, there's a more complicated backstory to that. You can argue, whether Sony was justified or not. But right, it seems like somehow Nintendo's didn't seem like a cheap cash in, yet Sony's does. And there's a handful of reasons for that. I mean, first off, the minis, Mo, you picked one up. Did anyone else here pick one up?
No.
No.
Picked up the SNES Mini.
Oh, you did. Okay, I couldn't remember, Barry.
If it was supposed to be a cash-in, then they didn't cash in very well.
Yeah, because they didn't make it widely available. But I mean, you've played it, right? It's would you consider it a reasonably polished experience? I mean, just in terms of it's got a cute little interface, music works. The stock one never really crashed on me.
And I had no issues with it. It was fun enough. I didn't try all the games yet, but
I
the
mean,
ones I
everything.
did try well.
Yeah, everything I tried, and I picked up both, and everything I tried on either one runs as well or better. I can't tell the difference. I mean, it runs at least as well as it does on the Virtual Console on Wii U because the emulators on these things are direct ports, basically, of the emulators for Wii U and 3DS, which are ports of each other. With some modern updates to them and whatever. They're like the next generation of those. So the games all run great. They're hand-selected classics. Sure, there's some licensing things that they can't get, but really, outside of one or two that you might go, why is that in there? Everything's a classic on these things, pretty much. And the Sony one, it's like there's a few, and then there's a bunch of crap. There's like, oh, I mean, to me, the Sony classic lineup, the 20 games, is like, oh, that's reminds me of why I had a girlfriend buy me a PlayStation, and I was like, oh, thanks. That's one of those moments I regret to this day. I was such a dick about it. I wasn't really that much of a dick, but it is kind of rude to be like, somebody just spent $100 on a gift for you, and you're like, oh, I'm a Nintendo guy. Which that was honestly how that went down. But it's just that it's a reminder. The games list is a reminder of the kind of shovelware that was on the PlayStation with one or two gems in it, which those particular gems in most cases are the PAL versions, which half of these games on this system are almost 8 or 9, I don't remember exactly, are the 50 frame a second PAL versions that are kind of hacked to run, NTSC mode, and so they have weird frame rate hitches, like every 10th frame or every whatever frame it'll slow down and stutter, which is more annoying than just an evenly slow frame rate.
Yeah.
Like everything, the reviews on Best Buy and Amazon are floating around 1 and 2 stars, like a lot of reviews,
Wow.
and
Yeah.
it's just they just screwed it. It's like to me it's such a perfect contrast of why I am a Nintendo fan and why I've never ever really considered Sony a real player in this space. Is to me Sony has always been and will always be a TV company making a video game console and just don't really understand video games. They know how to get licenses and they know how to get, big budget, deals done and they know how to do the business of it. But they don't at their core really get video games. And this to me proves it because you release a machine that it's a beautiful little model. Everyone, universally says that the classic is a beautiful little piece of hardware, but it runs mostly games you don't remember or care about. It runs most of them poorly. Um, it's got, and in addition, Digital Foundry has a great, very long, very detailed video where they give it a very hefty thumbs down. There's graphical glitches, there's audio glitches, you name it. There's problems just across the board. And it's not something that they'll ever patch or fix. It's just Sony just tossed it out there and said, "Here you go," and I, to me, it's a perfect example of why I've never considered them a real video game company, and why this is the Nintendo Open Air podcast, and why I have joined you guys in it, and not anything to do with Sony. Sorry, that's
Very
my
well
rant.
said.
Yeah,
No.
I've looked around. I see people trying to scalp it, although I did just look on Best Buy's website, and it says I could pick it up in store today or have it shipped. So it looks like these things are. That's more than I could say for the NES Classic this time last year.
Oh, really? I'm gonna go buy
So
one right now.
so Yeah, they're. I don't think they're selling quite like hotcakes. Like I said, I thought the price being at $100 is a bit of a barrier to entry.
Yeah,
It might
it's
put it just out
Yeah.
of.
that's how much
Um,
that ex-girlfriend of mine paid for that at the time
yeah,
when it was new. And so to me, that's not selling a
not impulse
miniature
buys
version of
though.
this. Well, it's also selling a miniature version of the same thing at literally the exact same price that it was new 10,
Yeah,
15 years ago, 15 years ago maybe. That's not the NES was never $60, right? There was a certain thing with that price point when that came out. We were all like, wow, 30 games, really good ones, right? We all did the math, like, holy crap, that's $2 a game. That's way better than the Easter than right than the virtual console. Um, so to me, yeah, that's it's not just that $100 is higher and it's kind of a mental thing about $100, but it's also the fact that damn it, you sold that same thing for the same price, 15 years ago. How the hell are you gonna expect me to pay that again?
by the way, the original PlayStation came out 24 years ago
Holy shit.
when it was released. So
20.
some of us
Well,
might be getting up there.
yeah, I'm getting old. I guess it was probably 20 years ago that somebody bought me that then. I mean, it was
Yeah, it's very
later in its
possible.
generational life, right,
Right,
when it was
right.
$100. Um, so
'Cause you probably didn't get a PlayStation. You got a PS1.
no, 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 it
No,
was OG PlayStation and has since
it wasn't.
vanished from my collection, and I really don't know where the
I
hell it
think it's
went.
funny that this one doesn't even have the sticks on it. They went they
Oh,
went so they went so OG that it has the original PlayStation
so
controller that didn't
half-assed.
have the dual sticks. Yeah,
So, and allow me to, I don't think I mentioned on air specifically that, yeah, the games, I have all these, I made a point when the game list came out to procure from my private original collection that I purchased um, copies of each of these games for my mini, and they all run, at least the 6 or 7 of them that I tried, because I went through and played, because I was watching the Digital Foundry video, so I went up and fired my own up, and plays fine to me. Ridge Racer 4 plays great. PCSX rearmed on the Mini. It plays beautiful. But apparently it plays like shit on the PlayStation Classic. Um, so that is what it is. And mine's the 60 frames per second PAL version.
yeah. It's
Or maybe
I don't
30.
know how
I
much
don't know.
nostalgia there really is because
I think it's
wasn't
30.
nostalgic for that system.
Well, that's the other thing too. Is it's
Yeah.
like
So
I'm, there are people, maybe Final Fantasy, right?
I don't think Sony has that kind of fanboyism that Nintendo has. These are all games that are dear to a lot of people. Even if you don't play it, you probably still have a connection to
Well,
Mario or to some of these older games. But I don't know that that connection lives on PlayStation.
well, there's a thing like if you didn't own a Nintendo console as a kid, you went over to your friend's house and you knew Mario and right, and then Nintendo has its own IPs. Sony doesn't. Bandicoot wasn't theirs. Wasn't that Ubi's? Didn't somebody make that for them?
I think so.
Like I don't. Sony does not have an original IP. They're just because again they're not a game company. They're a TV company. Um, so they just don't. There's no right. There's no magic to Sony. They're just the company that makes your console. All hail the corporate overlord. Like there's no, you know what I mean? There's not. They're a faceless entity in a way that Nintendo is not. I'm sure the Sony president shows up at E3, or the Sony, games division president or whatever shows up at E3, but everybody knows Reggie.
It's true.
It's just
Yeah.
not the same kind of thing. And that's just an example of the right. It's Reggie and the games and Mario. They're all part of the same thing. They're all part of that whole culture that
Secret
Nintendo
sauce.
builds for themselves. Yeah, they really are. There are probably even we can shit on Reggie all we want, but just the fact that there is a person designated to be this public relations person who is also supposedly the president of the Nintendo America division, but is really just a public face of the company who goes out and does all this stuff and always has been. right? Since, I mean, you know what I mean? Since the Nintendo Power Days and stuff. Like that's just always been part of Nintendo's DNA. I think before there was video games, they probably had a dude that went out pushing their cards or something, you know?
Part of their connection to the fans.
Yeah.
By the way, Crash Bandicoot was Naughty Dog, which is a subsidiary of Sony Computer Entertainment.
But
they also did.
I'm pretty sure they got
The
bought.
Last of Us.
I'm pretty sure they got
They
bought.
may have. Yeah, they might have.
That's what Microsoft and Sony did. Microsoft bought Rare and bought up some devs. Sony bought up some devs. Said, you guys are going to be our in-house game company now.
I thought at first you said Crash Bandicoot was not a dog, and it's like, no, he's not a dog, he's a bandicoot. But
Naughty Dog. You naughty dog.
Naughty dog.
Dog, you're going to make a bandicoot into a dog.
Oh, that reminds me of an old... Yeah, there was an old Pink Panther movie with a gag like that. Does your dog bite? And then he, no, my dog does not bite. And he tries to pet it, and it bites his hand. That is not my dog. Right? Probably
See, I
been
can't.
redone a million
I
times.
can't get the Hitler's dog has no nose out of my head now.
Didn't Hitler have one testicle, or is that just a myth?
Come on, guys, we need to pull this back in before we get into weirdness. So
Napoleon had one testicle. I think that's proven.
We'll leave that to the expert here to determine that. If you have a varying opinion on anything that we have talked about tonight, or if you have experience with maybe one of the original PlayStation or the PlayStation Mini, and maybe you're nostalgic for that, and you want to
or if you have only one testicle.
Hit us
Z
up.
could be an umpire. He's always got the ball count handy.
I'm always keeping my eye on the balls.
Anyway, we should close up because we are closing in on the 2-hour podcast. So
It's true.
as always, thank you for watching, and we'd love to hear from our fans. So hit us up on Twitter at NOA_podcast, on Twitch where we're live streaming right now, or of course on YouTube where we'll have our regular podcast up. So, and of course on Stitcher and iTunes if you listen there. So thanks for listening and have a good night.
Party on, folks.
Good night.
Good night.